we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our MEAC segment of the 2024 HBCU football preview special. We are back. We are going to talk about the 6 teams. The MEAC is, they went through a transformation a few years back. They have 6 football teams. Where are we going to start? Let's start with last year. North Carolina Central and Howard have pretty much separated themselves from the rest of the MEAC. Central had won 2 or 3 MEAC championships in a row. Now Howard won last year.
Wait, Howard went back? This is 2 years in a row for Howard, if I remember correctly. I think Howard's looking for a 3-peat.
Wow. And then Central, so the last 5 years has been Central and Howard, which for those us old heads, that's astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of back of what. I think when we were there, Hampton won the first 3 years, back to back. We were dominant too. Boy, let me tell y'all, take a little break here. Listen to y'all. Y'all didn't want nothing to do with Hampton. That little 2004 to 2007.
7, 8. They putting people in the league. Jerome, was it Mathis?
Putting people out of there, yes. Man.
Laying people out. But
that was the original transfer for why you playing.
Yeah, Hampton had everybody. Shout out to Big Joe Taylor. The MEAC preseason honors, Howard's Jared Hunter and Kenny Gallup were named MEAC offensive and defensive preseason players of the year, which is crazy to have both of them on one team. But Kenny Gallup is returning from last year. He was first team all everything. 2022 MEAC and HBCU national champions North Carolina Central were selected as the preseason favorite to win for the second straight year. They were the favorite last year, and they got upset because they were averaging like 40 points a game or something crazy like that last year. They were mowing people down, and then Howard just played ball. Again, Jared Hunter rushed for 626 yards and 9 touchdowns last season and averaged 257 yards. Now, remember, they only play like a 7-game schedule. So this is different from when you play 12. I think SIAC is playing 12 games. Okay. So if you take those numbers and extrapolate it over to maybe 13 or 14 games, he's at 1,300 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving. That's pretty damn good. Kenny Gallup had 2 interceptions, 65 tackles, 4 tackles for loss. He got the Aeneas Williams Award for the top defensive back in HBCU football, and he is back for Howard, which is still crazy. With all of that being said, North Carolina Central was picked to, as I said before, picked to win it this year because they have a proven product.
Yeah. I've been rocking with Central the last 2 years. I hopped on the bandwagon at the right time. But really looking over Howard's team, they got a bunch of studs.
Everybody.
They got 7 all-conference players. They looking to do repeat, and they're running back Jared Hunter, like you said, and Eden James.
Yeah, that's the other one I can't
Not playing. This is a really good team who's used to winning. I have to give, as much as I hate Howard, I just do. It's tough for me to give them credit. At this point, especially with the influx and everything going on at FAMU, I think that Howard right now across the board when it comes to HBCU athletics is setting the tone. And they're doing it on across all sports, and they're doing it in the marketing and branding world too. Good shit, man. I don't have anything negative to say. And I think I would like to see Central win. I think their team is a little bit,
No,
I just don't want to see Howard win. But if you have to respect them, you surely better respect them. I will tell you that much.
Yeah, you said they got 7 all-conference players. They have 3 first-team all-conference players on offense alone.
Jared Hunter, Eden James, Casey Hawthorne.
Yep. And then they have first-team defensive player with Kenny Gallup Jr. Now, Central ain't no slouch.
No, not at all.
They've got Jaden Taylor. But again, no shade because No shade. But when they say, hey, they have top talents like defensive lineman and punter, and the other
Yes.
team is like running back, defensive line, running back, tight end, it's like, Howard is set up to be dominant this year. And if they can be dominant, they will be a scary, scary team. Now, Central has 8 players that are picked to be pretty good, especially on offense. And Central's always going to have a good offense. But Howard
Now,
right now is good. Go ahead.
the thing that Central that concerns me a little bit is 22, they had 17 all conference players. 13, they had, 23, they had 13 all conference players. This year, they have 8 all conference players. So it seems to be going not in the right direction. That's got to be a level of concern. Where are these other players going and why? But that's also because the last 2 years in a row, you don't win the championship.
Yeah, but again, there's also HBCU problems. When players are good, they get picked off to go other places. FAMU had
That's a
a
good
big
problem to
that.
have too.
So you got the revolving door now. But the biggest threat to Central and Howard ain't all of that. It is Chennisberry down Orangeburg, South Carolina. They have 10 players, first team offense and first team defense. They have a lot of seniors, a lot of graduate seniors, a lot of redshirt seniors. They got a lot of transfer players. And he is putting I have followed this team. They have stepped up in every way, shape, or form. That whole athletic department or football department.
Looks like a whole new organization.
They are shooting documentaries about the summer camp.
And that's what happens when, unfortunately, you just go. It's kind of the same thing that, when you look at Hampton, like with Dr. Harvey. You just have an older regime who's not in touch, who's not near, been a good steward of the program. But if you did an excellent job. Yeah, did an excellent job with the program. But where we are now, you got to do the stuff that we happy that they're doing. You got to shoot the clips. You got to put out the social media. It has to look right. I'm going to give Dion the credit for that, moving HBCUs into the social media era probably a little bit faster than they were interested in doing. But it's got to look a certain way. And that's Deion Sanders Jr., who really quietly deserves a lot of credit for moving HBCUs forward.
Well-off entertainment, yeah.
This is what it's supposed to look like. This is exactly what it's supposed to look like. And if it doesn't look like this, that's fine. But just know you're not competing with me.
I was going to say that about Dion. It was a lot of things that we had problems with the way that he left, and for lack of better words and talking, he's having kind of those same problems, more money, more problems. He's having the same problems in Boulder that he had in Jackson, right? So, but the thing that he did, he branded. Dion is a marketing genius, and he branded HBCU football. And if you don't fall in line and do the same thing, go follow South Carolina State on Instagram, YouTube, for Facebook. They got all of those pages for, and they reach a lot of people because they're trying to raise money. And if they become good,
it looks like money, and it looks like, hell, send me some pads. I'll suit up and I'm ready to play with the speeches and stuff that they got going on over there. It looks good, and I'm happy about that. At the end of the day, me and Reggie are advocates for HBCUs, and we want to see them get to the highest of highest, get the recognition, notoriety that they deserve. In order to do that, you got to put yourself in a position for people to do that for you. And my personal thoughts on South Carolina State is, first thing they got to do is figure out what their expectation is.
MEAC
don't worry about your play matching the marketing yet. You can come in right now, Delaware State. It ain't there. They damn near missed the bus to get to Hawaii. Norfolk State, their quarterback,
they missed the flight.
And then they say it's an internal. I wrote it down. Internal scheduling malfunction.
Bus caught a flat tire.
And we just wasn't there. That's really the answer. and then so for Delaware State, I don't think they're Norfolk State lost their quarterback. South Carolina State, you probably can't get to Central or Howard. The best thing that you could do is get to third place. I honestly think that South Carolina State probably gonna be better than Morgan this year.
You said Norfolk State ain't there, but they got 11 players on the all-conference team.
Quarterback suspended for four games.
Oh, I just read that an hour ago, and I forgot about
yes,
it.
sir.
Oh, Dawson Odoms, I was pulling for you.
No. Otto Kuhn's first team, all conference, academics, 4 games.
Dawson Odoms is the head coach. He used to coach at Southern.
Oh, correct.
And they didn't want to pay him. So that's why I said Dawson Odoms. I'm rooting for you, but I forgot about that. Otto Kuhn's from Columbus. Yeah, senior too, and they were good.
Yeah,
Norfolk State wasn't bad. Dawson Odoms gonna get you to play some good football. Morgan State has good defense. Morgan State's they are always gonna have a good defense, but I don't know if they'll. Listen, I'm a believer in Chennis Berry. I'm a believer in Chennis Berry. I think he's gonna end up being 3 or 2. Yeah. So as I was saying, man, I really, really like Chennis Berry in South Carolina State. I believe in him. He makes me want to go play football now, and that's not gonna happen. So I believe in him. Morgan State. They're good on. I said they're good on defense. I meant offense. As I look at my notes, they actually have a lot of all conference offensive players.
They got 10 conference. I mean, they have 10 portal transfers.
Yes,
but I looked at them. Didn't love them.
Ain't great.
Didn't love them. I'm looking like I'm breaking them down. Boom, 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 and then I'm getting there, and I'm like, I'm always open to being wrong. One thing that I want to make sure I communicate this year to the podcast supporters is I'll be wrong sometimes, but within that, this is when I looked at it, didn't love it. Last year when I saw Central, I said, "Oh, that's it. This is the team to beat." This year, my gut is telling me Howard is the team to beat.
The paper telling it to you too. They got the offensive defensive player of the year.
I mean, you're right.
They
love that Jared Hunter kid.
Yeah, they do. And then Delaware State. I mean, I think they just put y'all on the list to be nice.
Yep.
Because
when you should go into this when you miss the bus. When you miss your flight to Hawaii for game 1, and y'all about to fly out to Honolulu, no rest, long flight, and get
no activities. You go out there for the activities that you missed, and
you're going to get cooked by the Rainbow Warriors.
The times we live in. But yeah, so Central, Howard, Morgan State, South Carolina State, Norfolk State. The thing about having only 6 teams is you only need 1 or 2 upsets, and then you're in the catbird seat. So, I mean, that's what happened with Norfolk State last year. They were like right there, and they ended up losing at the end of the season. So, with that being said, you're picking Howard. I hate to say it, I'm picking Howard too. I want Chennis Berry to do well. I would love for him to make it to the MEAC championship game. They don't have a championship game. They just have a champion. I don't think they have a championship game. But I would love for him to do well. And if he does well, y'all let Chennis Berry end up 1 or 2 this year. You might as well kiss the baby, as Chad Johnson used to say. It's over with. Over with. With that being said, we come to the end of the MEAC segment of only 6 teams. So, didn't take long. Of the HBCU 2024 football preview. You want to take a break, or you want to go straight into SWAC?
Quick break, and then we will talk about the SWAC showdown.
Ooh. We'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned.